All right, so now you've made your tea, your infusion, or your decoction. So we want to talk a little bit about how to use it and dosage, examples of dosage, because it could be very variable depending on the person or the ailment. So our first example we gave was tea. Tea you can let steep for 5 minutes or longer. What we tend to do is make our tea in a pot like this and just leave the herbs in there and drink on it throughout the day, where we have our mug, our strainer, and we just, anytime we want a cup, we just pour it through the strainer. So sometimes the herbs have been sitting there for 30 minutes, sometimes 5 hours. It doesn't matter. You can, for most things, you can let your herbs stay and keep steeping. It's fine. That leads into infusions, which was the method of packing your plant material in there and then just covering it, not filling it with boiled water, but covering it with the boiled water, so you'll obtain less typically than a tea because there's less water used. So what we do is we let it steep till it's cool, then we pour it off. Say you could take a jar like this, a strainer, and you pour it off. You could pour the whole thing off. You could squeeze your plant material out a little bit if you wanted to. Then you can discard it if you'd like. So then you have your strained infusion. So some of them taste good, some of them do not taste as good. So bitter herbs, what we like to do is make that strong infusion, or I recommend to people to make that strong infusion, and then you can store the infusion in the fridge. It usually stores for a week, 2 weeks if you leave it unsweetened, and then you can use it instead of like a tincture where you take just like drops or a dropper. You can take shots of your infusion. So we get a little shot glass, fill the shot glass halfway to all the way full, and just get it down. If it doesn't taste good, for sure, just get down whatever amount you can, whether that's half a shot, a whole shot.
And what the herbs are. If it's a wellness, if it's a nettle infusion, that sort of
If it
thing,
tastes
then
good.
people would just sip on it all day long. You know.
Exactly. You could just sip on it all day long. And nettle's one of those things that people do that, or it's recommended for so many things to make a nettle infusion. Just sip on it throughout the day.
And sweetness is a personal choice, but like she said, to preserve the life of the master infusion or decoction, don't sweeten that. Sweeten per cup if you need to.
Right. Sweeten as you're using it, or if you're going to use it all in that day. But to keep it stored in the fridge, it stays better without any sweetener in it.
Same with decoctions.
And then, did you want to mention how to use decoctions?
Decoctions, same way. So the difference being is that infusions and decoctions are typically stronger than a tea will be. So it's the same idea with the decoction. It's just it has to be decocted in boiling water or boiled for a period of time in order to extract the components out of these woody roots and barks. Some are heat soluble, which then they require heat for a period of time to be extracted. Other compounds are heat labile, which means they become medicinally inert if they become overheated. So now that you've had your decoction, it's a similar idea. We'll do the same thing. We'll pour like a shot of it and take it that way. Combine it with some infusion and take it that way. There's no hard and fast. It's a lot with personal preference or with whoever you're dealing with in that situation, whoever's consulting you. But that's just the general basics of how to make and use